DOJ. In a move that's sure to escalate divisions between the GOP and U.S. intelligence agencies, the House Intelligence Committee voted along party lines to make the documents public. But a Democratic memo described as a point-by-point rebuttal was voted down by the committee on the same day. The final say lies with the president. He has up to 5 days to review the material and decide if it should remain secret. Joining me now is Republican Congressman Chris Stewart, who represents the state of Utah. Congressman, thank you very much for being here.
Hi, Katie. Good to be with you.
Work with me here. I know the Republican talking points about why you guys have released a memo or decided to release a memo despite a warning from the DOJ that it would be extraordinarily reckless. So let me just start with this. Is the Republican-led House Intelligence Committee helping President Trump obstruct justice?
No, of course not. Let's take the first thing that you said. DOJ said it was extraordinarily reckless. Katie, they had not seen the memo. They had no idea what was in it, and how say it's extraordinarily reckless when they had not read it. And then we had Director Wray come down with two aides, by the way, who are the most knowledgeable on FISA courts and also on the facts of this case. The three of them read the memo. We asked them, are there any factual inaccuracies? They said no. We asked them, is there anything in there that would endanger national security? And they said no. And they gave us a go-ahead to release the memo.
They said no, there are no factual inaccuracies in this memo? None?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Is Christopher Wray going to come out and tell that to the American public in order to cast any aspersions away from this memo that are out there?
I don't know. I hope he does. You'll have to ask him. But look, when you get a chance to read this memo, I think you're going to say this isn't a partisan document. This isn't a pleading before the court. This is just simply a laying out of the facts. We don't accuse people. We don't draw any conclusions. It's very simple. And then
so then why is it being talked about in such extraordinary terms, such alarmist terms by many from your own party on cable news? Why is it being talked about like that if there's no smoking gun and it's something that just raises some more questions?
I wish that they wouldn't have talked about it in such dramatic terms. And frankly, I've been saying that for a week or more since the members of Congress have been able. Now, some people are measured about it, but some people have been overly dramatic. And it makes for great television. But again, it doesn't help us to raise people's expectations about, what's contained in this memo, and then for them to say, well, that didn't turn out. I've tried to be measured, as I think have been most of the members of the committee. But Katie, it is an important memo. This isn't just asking more questions. There are meaningful facts laid out in this memo that you and your viewers and the American people deserve to see.
Do you believe that whatever Mueller does come up with is something that can be believed?
Special Counsel Mueller?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've always
You don't think this is going to try to undercut his credibility or the FBI's credibility? The very body that's investigating the president right now.
The body that's investigating the president is Special Counsel Mueller. He's not an appendage of the FBI. He is independent. And it's one of the things we've also heard from people who had not read the memo. They said this will undermine the special counsel. It does not at all. I want the special counsel to continue. I want him to finish his work. I don't want to impede him in any way. But this memo simply doesn't do that. And once again, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, in the next few days, you're going to be able to see the memo. And when you do, then I would challenge anyone, how does this affect the special counsel? Because the truth of it is it does not.
President Trump wanted to fire Director Comey, and he wanted him gone after he refused to drop the Russia investigation. He said it was about Russia to NBC's Lester Holt. Comey was fired. President Trump railed against Andrew McCabe on Twitter and repeatedly insulted him and his wife even. McCabe is stepping aside. President Trump has repeatedly called out Rod Rosenstein. Now, this memo, which many are saying is basically Devin Nunes's version of events, supposedly shows Rosenstein in a bad light. How do you not see this as a deliberate purge of everybody who the president doesn't like or who could potentially threaten the president in a Russian investigation?
Katie, I know you and I see the world differently, and this is one of those cases where we're just, men are from Mars or women are from Venus. We don't call out Mr. Rosenstein at all.
I'm sorry, hold on. You think we see the world differently? I just laid out a number of facts.
Yeah, well, let me respond to them. Because we clearly do see the world, and look, people can look at things and claim facts or claim their interpretation of facts, but they clearly have different views on that.
No, this is Donald Trump saying to NBC's Lester Holt that he fired Comey because of the Russia thing.
Okay,
It's Donald Trump saying on Twitter that he doesn't like Abe and that he thinks he's a partisan, and his wife was a Democrat, and calling his wife a loser for not winning that election. It's Donald Trump going after Rosenstein. I mean,
Katy,
where are we disagreeing?
Let me respond. If you think, are you proposing that Mr. McCabe resigned because of Donald Trump? Because I think that would be silly. For heaven's sakes, the FBI is independent. Mr. Trump can't fire him or hasn't threatened to fire him. I believe he resigned because of some of the information contained in this memo that's about to come forward. And I could elaborate on that. I could tell you some of the things that we are concerned about with Mr. McCabe. But he made his own decision. He wasn't forced out by the president. The president isn't trying to force out Mr. Rosenstein. But you can't take any organization, particularly a law enforcement like the FBI, a law enforcement organization, say, you know what, they are beyond reproach. You cannot question them. There's only one organization in the world that's beyond reproach, and that's the FSB, or the former KGB in Russia. They're the ones who say, if you question us, we're going to arrest you. The FBI is not like that. We can't allow the FBI to become like that.
So what do you say to your Republican counterparts and supporters of Donald Trump who do compare the FBI to the KGB? I had somebody on my show the other day doing that very thing. Folks on Fox are doing that. They're calling them the secret police. What do you say to them in order to turn down the volume?
Yeah, I think that's nuts. I just do. I think that's nuts. The vast majority of the people in the FBI are dedicated public servants. And we want to support them. And, you know, one of the unfortunate things is there's been this narrative, well, the Republican or the House Intel Committee is trying to tear down the FBI. That's just insane. Of course we're not. But you can't have any organization that, again, is beyond oversight. If there are individuals, especially leaders within the FBI, who have done things inappropriate, we have to be able to hold them accountable. And, Katie, by the way, I've talked with FBI agents who are just hardworking men and women in the field who are very distressed by this. And it's not because we are trying to hold people accountable. It's because of the politicalization and some of the things that have been taking place. That's the thing.
You don't think the politicalization, though, has come right from the top? I mean, the politicalization of the FBI, Donald Trump has gone after them as a whole, in tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet since he was elected. He was going after them even during the campaign before Comey reopened the investigation into Hillary Clinton, and then all of a sudden he loved the FBI and loved what they were doing, and then suddenly when the tables were turned, when it could be him under investigation, suddenly then they are the enemy. It's hard to look at this and to say that Donald Trump just really wants to clean it out, when on the one hand Donald Trump loves the FBI when it helps him and then doesn't love him when it might hurt him.
That's a good example of people's different interpretations. Let me explain what I mean by...
I'm sorry, the interpretation, I don't think that's subject to interpretation.
Let me
Donald
explain
Trump
to you what
railed
I
against
mean.
the FBI when it wasn't helping him. He loved the FBI when it was helping him, and now he's railing against the FBI again.
Katie, give me a chance to respond. I love to come on your show, but to be fair, you've got to give me a chance to respond. When I talk about the politicalization of the FBI, I'm not talking about any one person's tweets. The president, as is anyone else, is free to tweet whatever they want. That is in the public realm. You and I can see that. We can evaluate that. I'm talking about something much more insidious and frankly, much more challenging to confront and to correct. And that is, were they secretly, behind closed doors, acting inappropriately? Were they targeting U.S. citizens, private U.S. citizens, inappropriately? Were they honest before the FISA courts? Those are the kind of questions I think are far more important, at least as important as someone's tweets. Those are the kind of things that the American people have a right to know.
Let's just end on one thing. If this memo does reveal that Rod Rosenstein okayed the FISA warrant for Carter Page, just remember that this is a Donald Trump appointee, Rod Rosenstein, okaying the FISA warrant, the spying essentially on a Donald Trump campaign advisor. And that is a big deal. If a Donald Trump appointee is okaying looking into a Donald Trump campaign advisor because they suspect he might be working with Russia.